let you know just what they took from me. They took away my only child. It's been so hard.
Justice has a funny way of showing up sometimes. Sure, the courts hand out sentences, but every now and then, karma swoops in for an encore. Take this killer, for instance. He got hell from the father and the godfather of the victim. Then there was this joker who decided to taunt the grieving families of his victims. Bad move. They didn't just glare at him from across the courtroom, they chased him around it. Another killer took the unthinkable step of ending his own baby's life. As he was leaving the courtroom, the baby's uncle made sure he didn't leave unscathed, but karma's got layers. In one case, another prisoner decided to fast-track the killer's punishment. In this video, we will look at killers who faced reckoning from their victims' families. 34-year-old Clifford Thomas was charged with involuntary manslaughter and resisting an officer in the death of 3-year-old Jamila Smith. He was also found guilty of physically abusing Smith, which contributed to her death. On September 18, 2014, Thomas was babysitting his girlfriend's daughter Jamila and her son while she was at work. Jamila was later rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead. Doctors found that the little girl had bruises on her head and chest that showed signs of physical abuse. He was sentenced to 6 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter and 1 to 2 years for resisting and obstructing a police officer. In August 2015, during a sentencing hearing, Jamila's biological father, Dwayne Smith, attacked Thomas in court. Smith punched Thomas from behind, and a fight broke out. Sheriff's deputies had to intervene to keep the two men apart. The court later resumed, and Thomas was sentenced. The judge did not hold Smith in contempt of court for the outburst. Jamila was very young when her life was cut short. Sadly, the next victim was even younger when she was killed. Jesse Outley was charged with second-degree murder, second-degree attempted murder, and criminal possession of a weapon for the killing of Dior Harris. Baby Dior was only 11 months old when he was tragically shot and killed while sitting in a car with her cousins. Her mother and another cousin were in the front seats when gunfire hit the vehicle, killing Dior and injuring the 2 other children. Outley's trial ended in chaos, with verbal and physical altercations breaking out in the courthouse. In one heartbreaking moment, Dior's father confronted Jesse Outley, urging him to face the consequences of his actions. He shared the pain of losing his daughter and described how the loss weighs on him every day.
See how you took off from me, bro?
You see your people. We can't see ourselves.
You don't understand because it's not you. If you had a kid, you understand, man. You understand, yo. 4 days before, 15 days before our first birthday, man. To go away because they want to shoot up the whole car, man.
Outley was removed from the courtroom as the shouting grew louder. When he came back, he was smirking, which caught Dior's father's attention. Judge Gordon Cuffey sentenced Outley to 40 years to life in prison. Chavez Ocasio, the getaway driver of the car linked to the shooting, was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Although he was arrested soon after the incident, it took him 2 years to reveal Outley's involvement. There were disruptions during his sentencing as well.
Talk to him real quick. You took my baby from me. Sucker, bro. When you took my daughter from me, bro. You took my baby from me, man. You copping out to 15 years, bro. You get 15 years for taking my daughter from me, bro. That's you told me right here. You get 15 years, bro.
Outley and Ocasio may have avoided physical harm, but the next killer couldn't escape both the victim's father and godfather. Jason Stevens was charged with first-degree murder in the death of 3-year-old Robert Sparrow III during a home invasion robbery on June 2, 1997. Stevens and his accomplices broke into the Sparrow family home, where he struck the child's mother in the face with a gun. To intimidate her, he fired a shot into the floor and demanded money and marijuana. Stevens then took Robert hostage and left him in a stolen car under the hot sun around 2:30 p.m. Tragically, the child was found dead in the car later that night. On July 25, 1997, Robert Sparrow III's father and godfather attacked Stevens during his first court appearance in Jacksonville. They punched him, knocked him to the ground, and broke a table. Both men were charged with battery, and the judge had to postpone the hearing because of the chaos. Besides the first-degree murder charges for the death of Sparrow, he faced several other charges, including armed robbery of Derek Dixon and Roderick Gardner, attempted robbery of Tammy Cobb and David Cobb, armed burglary, and aggravated battery. The jury found him guilty of first-degree murder of Robert Sparrow III and sentenced him to death. Stevens faced the full anger of the courtroom and his victim's family, but the next killer case is just as devastating. On July 14, 2022, during a courtroom hearing in Orangeburg County, South Carolina, emotions ran high as Lindy Jones was being sentenced for the 2019 murder of 18-year-old Willie Antoine Fields. While the victim's mother spoke tearfully about losing her only child, Willie Clay Fields, the victim's father, rushed at Jones.
I'll let you know just what they took from me. They took away my only child. It's been so hard.
Sir, back off, back off, sir, back off, back off, back off, sir.
Wearing a green shirt, he punched Jones in the back of the head and tackled him. Court security quickly separated the two and escorted Jones out of the courtroom. Jones had admitted to killing Fields, whose body was found shot near a road after he went missing. Jones faced a murder charge, while his brother, Jalen Jones, was charged as an accessory. The father, Willie Clay Fields, was charged with contempt of court and third-degree assault. His lawyer defended him, saying Fields was not a criminal, but a grieving father who lost his innocent son to violence. Lindy Jones was sentenced to 35 years in prison.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you to the Department of Corrections for a period of 35 years. You'll get credit for the time that you've already served. Good luck to you.
Unlike Jones, who faced a physical assault, the next killer endured verbal assault, but it was equally brutal. Lucas Kendall was charged with second-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder for a 2012 shooting in Miami. The incident left Kijuan Bird dead and Michael Smathers paralyzed. At the time, Kendall was working as an armed security guard at a strip club. He saw Bird and Smathers sitting in a pickup truck in the parking lot and later claimed he thought they were rolling marijuana. He also alleged one of the men had threatened his life. When the car doors opened, Kendall said he acted in self-defense and fired his gun. However, evidence showed Kendall fired 8 shots at Bird, including 4, while Bird crawled under the truck. Smathers denied making any threats and described the encounter differently. According to him, they saw the Kendall, he saw them, and there were no words exchanged. The only thing he remembered was opening his car door and Kendall telling him to put his hands up, and then he started shooting. Kendall told jurors he believed the evidence against him was fabricated because he is white. Ignoring a warning from the judge, he claimed, "The people I shot were African American," and suggested his arrest was connected to the controversial George Zimmerman case. During a court hearing, Kijuan Bird's father, Donald, became enraged over his son's death.
He need to go to prison. He don't need to be laying no mental hospital. He need to go to prison, man. Come on, sir. He want to play crazy. He wasn't crazy when he murdered my son, man. He wasn't crazy then, but he crazy now. All of a sudden he crazy now. You want to lay in a mental hospital?
He was forcefully removed from the courtroom.
You murdered my son, man, for nothing. When he was trying to get away from you. You trying to get away from you, man. And you kept shooting him while his back was under the truck. You kept shooting him, man. You kept shooting him in his back. His back was turned to you, man. He was trying to get away from you. And you murdered him, man, like you. You murdered him, man, like that.
Kendall was sentenced to life in prison for the second-degree murder of Bird and an additional 30 years for attempting to kill Smathers. He argued his actions were justified under the Stand Your Ground law, the same defense used in the George Zimmerman case, which drew criticism after Zimmerman's acquittal in 2012. The next killer murdered his own son, and the baby boy's uncle made sure the killer paid a painful price for his crime. In May 2018, 23-year-old Quinn Bowes was arrested after his 11-week-old son, Parker, died from a severe head injury. Bowes first claimed he was asleep when the injury happened and said the baby fell off a nursing pillow onto the floor. However, doctors confirmed the injury was not accidental. Bowes later admitted guilt and was charged with a level 2 felony for domestic battery causing death. Bowes originally faced up to 30 years, but will instead serve 19 years in prison, followed by 6 years on work release. He was also ordered to pay for his son's funeral. As he left the Gibson County Courthouse, the baby's uncle, Jeremiah Matt Hartley, attacked him, punching him. Hartley was immediately arrested and faced 6 months in jail for battery. The next killer teased his victim's family, and this led to a violent confrontation. Paul Wade was arrested on October 13, 2022, and charged with 2 murders and firearm possession by a convicted felon. He is accused of killing Edward Lamont Smith and Alexis McCrary on September 10th in the Russell neighborhood. On October 21st, during a court hearing in Louisville, Kentucky, a violent outburst occurred when the victims' families tried to attack Wade as he was being led back to a holding cell. Wade taunted the relatives as he passed them, which led to several people rushing towards him in anger. Some even tried to climb over the benches to reach him. Court officers quickly intervened to stop the chaos, while Wade, wearing an orange jumpsuit, stood against the wall in handcuffs. The judge later told reporters that the hearing was the first time the family saw Wade in custody. As Wade was being escorted out, he swore at the family, and they reacted to it. The situation quickly became chaotic, with people pushing and shoving. The judge also suggested that things could have been handled differently. She said there should have been a door that could have prevented Wade from getting too close to the judge. More deputies could have been present, and she could have spoken to the family beforehand to check their emotions. However, she said that the court process takes time, and the family needs to control their emotions and respect the courtroom rules in the future. The next killer was just a teenager when he ended a baby's life. In the courtroom, he got a preview of what awaited him in prison. On November 9, 2022, 18-year-old David Mutschwain was arrested for the tragic death of 9-month-old Darius King Grigsby. Darius was in a stroller with his mother and her male friend when shots were fired from a burgundy Chevrolet Trailblazer. Although the bullets were meant for the male friend, one hit Darius, killing him instantly. Mutschwain was charged with murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and gang-related crimes. Police believe the shooting was a targeted attack gone wrong. In court, Darius's mother, Monica Ayala, and aunt, Elena Perez, expressed their anger, saying Mutschwain deserved severe punishment. On December 1, 2022, just before his arraignment in Merced County Superior Court, another inmate, James C. McRae, attacked Mutschwain, hitting him in the back of the head. A deputy quickly intervened, tackled McRae, and struck him once while he was on the ground. The courtroom was cleared, and Mutschwain's arraignment was postponed. Just like Mutschwain, the next killer found no sympathy in the courtroom. 23-year-old Decean Brown was charged with the murder of Nitisha Lattimore and her 3-year-old son, Nilo Lattimore. In June 2022, he attended a court hearing to decide if his taped confession would be used as evidence. The judge ruled it could be included in the trial. After the hearing, Nilo's father, Tonio Hughes, approached Brown and punched him several times. Deputies quickly tackled Hughes, and they called for backup. Even after being handcuffed, Hughes tried to break free before Brown was escorted out of the courtroom. Hughes was then removed from the courtroom, and the judge sentenced him to 7 days in jail for contempt of court. Prosecutors say that on December 5, 2020, Nitisha Lattimore was stabbed in an apartment in Walnut Hills. Her body was found near the Ohio River by the Purple People Bridge a week later, on December 12. The killer bought a body bag online and brought her body to the river. Nitisha's son, Nilo, was also missing, and blood from him was found on a Paw Patrol blanket found with her body. His stroller was found in the river too, but despite extensive searches, Nilo has not been found. Investigations revealed that the same person who killed Nitisha also killed Nilo. Brown now faces the death penalty and has been charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. His trial is set for 2025. Karma took its time with the next killer, but 3 decades after his crime, prison finally delivered the justice he couldn't escape. Anthony Palmer was charged with kidnapping and killing his 8-year-old neighbor, Kirsten Hatfield, in 1997. Although Hatfield's body was never found, DNA evidence found in her bedroom and backyard in 2015 linked Palmer to the crime. At the time of the kidnapping, Palmer lived just 2 doors down from Hatfield. In court during his trial, Palmer was also confronted by 3 women who said he had attacked them years earlier. One of the women said Palmer drugged her and did strange things to her when she was 17. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole in 2017. Shannon Hazen, the victim's mother, said she forgave Palmer years ago.
Actually had come to a position of forgiveness about over 8 years ago.
In court, Kirsten's family begged Palmer to reveal where her remains were, but he refused to speak. Both her mother and sister read letters to him, saying they had prayed for him and forgiven him. Her sister, Faith Daniels, expressed hope that their forgiveness might convince him to share Kirsten's location so they could give her a proper burial.
That will bring him to a place of telling us so we can lay her to rest.
Palmer chose not to appeal his case, which District Attorney David Prater said brought some closure to the family. However, they still desperately wanted to know where Kirsten was.
Appreciate him doing that because this gives some finality to the family. Don't use the word closure because there's no such thing as closure. We'd love to know where Kirsten is...
On January 11, 2019, Palmer was found dead in his prison cell, having been beaten and strangled by his cellmate, Raymond Pilado, who was already serving a life sentence for 3 other murders. Palmer's death ended the Hatfield family's hope that he would tell the authorities where the body of the young girl was after his conviction. Unlike most of the killers on this list, the next one was never physically attacked. Instead, he endured one of the most unforgiving verbal onslaughts ever witnessed. Andy Gonzalez was charged with second-degree murder for shooting and killing 23-year-old DeAndre Bullis and attempted murder for injuring Bullis's cousin, Manuel Villarreal. The shooting took place on May 5, 2017, outside a barbershop in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Villarreal said that Gonzalez shot at them 5 times, hitting Bullis in the head, which killed him. Villarreal was also injured, with bullets breaking his leg and foot. Gonzalez and Bullis had a history of conflict, and Gonzalez fired the shots after an argument between the 2 men. A jury in Kent County found Gonzalez guilty of second-degree murder, and he was sentenced to at least 67.5 years in prison with a maximum of 102 years. The judge could have given him a life sentence, but Gonzalez would have been eligible for parole after 15 years. Instead, the judge said he would be about 90 years old before being considered for parole. He also received 35 to 100 years for attempted murder, with the sentences running concurrently. He was also given a mandatory 2 years for using a gun. During the sentencing, the mother of the victim and his 2 children spoke angrily.
You killed him for no reason. You had no right. And I hope you rot in hell in prison for the rest of your damn life. I hope you get exactly what you deserve in prison, and you know what's gonna happen to you when you go to prison. God forgive me, but I hate you. Yeah. And I hope you rot in hell for the rest of your life.
The victim's mother called Gonzalez a coward and wished for him to suffer throughout his life.
Because you're a bitch. You're a coward. You already know how life is in prison. And you think you're gonna just be happy-go-lucky? Nah, mother. You're gonna suffer for the rest of your life, bent over with your mouth open, being everybody's for the rest of your life. Why did you kill my baby? You ain't got a reason. Mother, you're gonna die in prison.
For the next killer, the physical retaliation came quickly and unexpectedly. Michael Madison is an American serial killer and sex offender from East Cleveland, Ohio. He murdered at least 3 women between 2012 and 2013. Madison was charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, abduction, and abuse of a corpse. Madison's trial started in April 2016, and 1 month later, he was found guilty of murdering Angela Deskins, Shatisha Sheely, and Sherelle Terry. The jury took less than a day to convict him on all 13 charges. Madison said he would appeal the decision to the Supreme Court. In May 2016, the jury recommended the death penalty for Madison, and on June 2, 2016, Judge Nancy McDonnell sentenced him to death.
Upon consideration of the relevant evidence, the testimony exhibits admitted in mitigation, it is a judgment of this court that the aggravated circumstances of course of conduct, felony murder kidnapping, felony murder. Accordingly, the sentence of death is imposed upon the defendant, Michael Madison.
During the victim impact statements, Van Terry, a grieving father, told the court they were expected to forgive the person who had hurt their families and taken his child.
My name is Van Terry. Father Shirley Terry. Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown. He's touched our families, taken my child.
During the statement, Terry paused, glanced at Madison, and then suddenly sprang at him, jumping over the table. Deputies wrestled with Terry in the courtroom as Madison and others quickly stepped out of the way. The room erupted into chaos with people shouting and screaming. Officers dragged Terry out, while Madison, unbothered by the commotion, laughed and smirked as if nothing had happened. Madison was set to be executed in May 2024, but the Supreme Court delayed it until his appeals were finished. After murdering his girlfriend's baby, the next killer faced the fury of the victim's grandmother. Scott Jurewicz was charged with first-degree murder and child abuse for killing his ex-girlfriend's 18-month-old son, Brendan Hartranft, in Jackson, Michigan. The crime happened on March 14, 2015, when Jurewicz was living with Hartranft and her children. He admitted to shaking Brendan and putting him roughly into his playpen when the child wouldn't go to bed. The next morning, Brendan was unresponsive. An autopsy revealed he died from serious head and neck injuries. In court, Jurewicz apologized but denied guilt. Judge Thomas Wilson called him a psychopath and said he would would struggle in prison. Jurovich was convicted of first-degree murder and child abuse in November 2015. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Jurovich also received a 50 to 75-year sentence for child abuse.
You lack any conscience or empathy for other people. Count 1. You've got life without parole.
While being investigated for Brendan's death, Jurovich started a relationship with Andrea Conaway, a single mother. Her 21-month-old son, Jesse Pepper Jr., was found dead in his playpen on May 21, 2015. Jurovich was a suspect, but no charges were filed. Jurovich's lawyer, Eric White, said they would appeal his conviction. Brendan's grandmother, Dawn Wilson, spoke at the sentencing, expressing her deep sorrow and anger.
I hope that you can never forgive yourself or forget the name Brendan James Hartraft. You have blood on your hands for as long as you live. If I could put his picture all over your cell so you had to look at that baby every single day of your life, I would.
If you enjoyed this video, click on the card showing on your screen right now for more videos.